big news today as far as the media goes. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? The Senate just passed a bill cutting funding for $1.1 billion that would be going for all kinds of state-funded media. The days of state-funded, taxpayer-funded media, they are coming to an end, and I consider that a good thing. Here's CNN, who does not.
This is the end of a publicly funded media era. This dates back to the days of black and white television. You know, back in the 60s, Congress saw a value for PBS and NPR, but no more. As a result of this rescission, radio and TV stations will have to lay off staffers and cut back on programming. Some smaller stations will suffer more than bigger stations, right? Popular shows like Daniel Tiger's.
Oh, Daniel Tiger. Is he like the spinoff from Mr. Rogers? I saw Mr. Rogers the other day. Like I wanted my kids to see it. It was a little too slow for them, which is disappointing because it shows you like media today. It's so action packed, right? That the kids can't sit and watch Mr. Rogers. They're like, really? You used to like this? I'm like, yeah, this is the greatest show ever. And they had this moment where Mr. Rogers was actually singing a song about how a mommy is a mommy and a daddy is a daddy. And only mommies can have the babies. And only daddies can be daddies, but daddies cannot have babies. I'm dying. I'm like, wow, times have changed, because I'm pretty sure the kind of programming they're putting on NPR or PBS these days would not be saying that. Gosh, good old wholesome fun. Look, Caroline Leavitt had this to say moments ago, the White House weighing in on what's going down with the discontinuation of state funding for state media. Watch.
The CEO of NPR, she's claiming that the cuts to their network will, quote, be a real risk to public safety of the country. Congressman Murkowski has argued that public broadcasting stations save lives. Could you respond to these concerns?
The NPR CEO said cutting NPR will be a risk to public safety. I am not sure how NPR helps the public safety of our country, but I do know that NPR, unfortunately, has become really just a propaganda voice for the left. Just a few examples for you. In 2020, NPR refused to cover the Hunter Biden laptop scandal in the run-up to the election. They said their assertions don't amount to much, writing they did not want to waste the listeners' and readers' time on stories that are just pure distractions. That does not sound like an unbiased opinion. That sounds like a partisan opinion to me. And this is a taxpayer-funded organization. In 2018, that same CEO that you're talking about called the president in the Oval Office, who nearly 80 million Americans elected, she called him racist, shared a photo of herself wearing a Biden for president campaign hat, serves on the board of a Soros-funded activist group. In 2020, PBS's White House correspondent at the time characterized President Trump's speech then at Mount Rushmore as a love letter to white resentment, promoting the myth of America. In 2017, PBS devoted an entire panel talking about what it means to be woke and white privilege. In 2023, PBS's Washington Week roundtable covered up Joe Biden's clear mental divide. That's actually quite the clip. I would encourage all of you to look at it. These are not honest news organizations. These are partisan, left-wing outlets that are funded by the taxpayers. And this administration does not believe it's a good use of the taxpayers' time and money.
Hear, hear. I mean, for goodness sakes. You know, I got to show you this clip of the NPR CEO just getting brutally destroyed by the new freshman congressman from Texas, who, by the way, does a heck of a better job than one Jasmine Crockett. Anyway, this is really fascinating to see. He completely destroys this uber woke woman with her own words and her own history. And now, she's not going to have an organization anymore. They're losing a lot of money. Watch.
Would you say you generally agree or disagree with the following statement? The history of all hitherto existing society is the history of class struggles?
I would not say I agree with that, sir.
You're not. That's good to hear. It's interesting because a lot of your thinking, as expressed by your public statements, is deeply infused with economic and cultural Marxism. Do you believe that America is addicted to white supremacy?
I believe that I tweeted that, and as I've said earlier, I believe much of my thinking has evolved over the last half decade.
It has evolved. Why did you tweet that?
I don't recall the exact context, sir, so I wouldn't be able to say.
Okay. Do you believe that America believes in black plunder and white democracy?
I don't believe that, sir.
You
Don't know where
tweeted
statement
that in
comes from.
reference to a book you were reading at the time, apparently, The Case for Reparations.
I don't think I've ever read that book, sir.
You tweeted about it. You said you took a day off to fully read The Case for Reparations. You put that on Twitter in January of 2020.
Apologies, I don't recall that I did.
Okay.
I'd no doubt that your tweet there is correct, but I don't recall that.
Okay. Do you believe that white people inherently feel superior to other races?
I do not.
You don't? You tweeted something to that effect. You said, I grew up feeling superior. Ha, how white of me. Why did you tweet that?
I think I was probably reflecting on what it was to grow up in an environment where I had lots of advantages.
It sounds like you're saying that white people feel superior.
I don't believe that anybody feels that way, sir. I was just reflecting on my own experiences.
Do you think that white people should pay reparations?
I have never said that, sir.
Yes, you did. You said it in January of 2020. You tweeted, yes, the North, yes, all of us, yes, America, yes, our original collective sin and unpaid debt, yes, reparations, yes, on this day.
I don't believe that was a reference to fiscal reparations, sir.
What kind of reparations was it a reference to?
I think it was just a reference to the idea that we all owe much to the people who came before us.
That's a bizarre way to frame what you tweeted. Okay, how much reparations have you personally paid?
Sir, I don't believe that I've ever paid reparations.
Okay, it's just for everybody else.
I'm not asking anyone
Seems
to pay
to be what you're
reparations, sir.
suggesting. Do you believe that looting is morally wrong?
I believe that looting is illegal, and I refer to it as counterproductive. I think it should be prosecuted.
Do you believe
to the
it's
fullest extent of the
morally
law.
wrong, though?
Of course.
Of course. Then why did you refer to it as counterproductive? It's a very different way to describe it.
It is both morally wrong and counterproductive, as well as being
You
illegal.
tweeted, it's hard to be mad about protests in reference to the BLM protests, not prioritizing the private property of a system of oppression. You didn't condemn the looting. You said that it was counterproductive. NPR also promoted a book called In Defense of Looting. Do you think that that's an appropriate use of taxpayer dollars?
I'm unfamiliar with that book, sir, and I don't believe that was at my
You
time at
tweeted
NPR.
that you read that book, but
I don't believe that I did read that book, sir.
Brandon Gill for the win. My gosh, he's good, right? That's Dinesh's son-in-law. Dinesh D'Souza's son-in-law. He is so good. I mean, he had all the receipts and he totally took her down. This is the woman who's running NPR. So guess what? They're losing a lot of money. The Senate just voted to cut the $1.1 billion that they would get. NPR, PBS, and Congress is going to do the same. So she's going to be looking for a job pretty darn soon. Maybe she'll have time now to actually go and do the reading of all those books that she pledged to have read on Twitter, which is what has so informed her thoughts that she no longer has when Brandon Gill is asking her the questions. Gosh, that's priceless. Totally priceless. These people are something else. Something else indeed. Wow. Do you know that Coca-Cola may actually no longer have corn syrup in it? If the Trump administration gets this one through, I'm like, man, like this is amazing, right? RFK Jr., he's on the case saying he's got all kinds of companies saying we're going to get rid of this, that, and the other. The food companies getting rid of all their dyes.
I'm particularly happy to be here today because this is relevant to my favorite food, which is ice cream.
Okay, it's a little bit hard to hear. But basically, he's got like a whole slew of companies. RFK Jr. getting rid of the bad stuff. Like they want to get rid of that red dye. They want to get rid of the sugar in Coca-Cola and put cane sugar in instead to try and make it a little bit healthier. And Donald Trump seems okay with it. I mean, he likes his McDonald's and he likes his Coca-Cola, his Diet Coke to be specific. But he seems to be coming around. Listen, these ingredients matter. They really do. And it brings me to, we're totally independent here on the Trish Regan Show, and we love being independent. And we thank our sponsors for all they do to help us stay independent like that. One of the sponsors is Balance of Nature, and Balance of Nature is a vitamin company. They got all kinds of good things on their website. I want you to go check it out because you're not going to see any of those weird things, right? Any of those red dyes or any of those crazy ingredients, any of those fillers, etc., in any of their products because they've done this the right way for a long, long time. which is really good. I mean, I'm going through the house. Some of you guys have heard the story. The kids are going nuts because they took away the Fruit Loops. I'm hoping I can bring them back, though, because Ferraro just bought the company. Ferraro bought the company, and Ferraro does not, and they're Italian, so the Europeans, they don't like any of that junk. They're probably going to get rid of the red dye in the Fruit Loops, which I'm like, woohoo, this is great. Anyway, no red dye in any of the Balance of Nature products. Go check them out today. Balance of Nature. Use my name, code word TRISH, T-R-I-S-H. You get 35% off, plus free shipping, plus a free money back guarantee, and there's all kinds of good stuff. You don't have to take my word for it. There's tons of testimonials on there. Ask Leslie. Leslie's been taking this stuff for years and years. She loves it, and my kid's music teacher also told me he loves it. So plenty of people have said what it has done for them. Listen, what you put into your body really matters. Exercise matters. Drinking lots of water matters, your sort of overall state of happiness. Remember to stay positive, glass half full. All of that stuff matters. But also, you got to be careful what you eat, and you got to be careful what you ingest. So check it out, balanceofnature.com today.